Hi there, this is Terry again, this time on the other side from the subscriber platform, to very briefly demonstrate the inner workings and what a user can expect. This, of course, is a very potted version. The time to carry out a first draft assessment would normally be about 1 hour. The report output may then yield some inquiries for investigation or action, though the first draft will offer guidance and recommendations of any stage that might follow. Remember, this is a live document and subject to any changes and adaptations there might be within your environment. The risk assessment follows a simple questioning technique and provides our recommendations and responses. It also provides a free format area for your own response, should you consider it necessary. Under fire safety requirements, it is essential to consider every risk and even record a positive answer. This means that you can't just glance over something and say, yes, that's fine, and not record it. And any enforcing authority will require a robust, complete, and specific fire risk assessment that truly reflects the risks within your environment. A note before we start. This platform belongs to Webster Forrest Limited, one of the country's leading fire engineering and fire risk management consultancies. Please take a look at their website, www.lwf.co.uk, and specifically their client list as confirmation of this. You can imagine that there is practically no fire risk in the country that LWF cannot deal with. Therefore, guidance and support to users is included within the subscription on what we call the Touchstone service. That is a help desk that will offer friendly support, guidance and advice, and if necessary, through a web conference facility, so we can even view some of the issues facing a user. Remember, the user is nominated responsible person, which has profound implications in law, so please click on our responsible person hotspot for a clear understanding of this. Suffice to say, therefore, this is a robust and thorough product that will achieve your legal and insurance obligations, as well as ensuring a safe environment for your occupants. So let's make a start then. Here you see the first subscriber page. Across the top you have the 3 key elements of fire safety management. That is pre-formatted policy and procedures for your specific completion, online fire awareness and fire warden training videos, and your fire risk assessment process. You will also see some further help and guidance, together with frequently asked questions. It is advisable to carry out the first 2 elements initially, as completing the fire risk assessment will be much easier, as some of the questions relate to procedures and training. So here, I've part-loaded up an example office building in Croydon. Let's take a look. So we'll go into Edit the Report. Here we see page 1, a simple preamble and background information about the subject property that we will see later on the report. Moving to part 2, further though slightly more detailed questions that any user could easily answer. Now moving into part 3, we start to ask specific hazard-based questions about the assessment area. So let's open the first one so you can see the format. Here we have smoking. Simple yes and no answers to the questions. Please also see the legal position, together with supporting guidance. If we answer no, you'll see the positive response I mentioned earlier. If the answer is yes, you can see the output together with our recommendation. Please note, however, if you don't like our recommendation, you can enter your own in the free format box below. I'll show you a better example of this later. So you now start to understand the methodology of the platform. Moving on, naked flames. Is there evidence of naked flames being used in the premises? Yes, no. In my office case there are none, though perhaps in, say, a car repair workshop there might be some welding work carried out that is essential to the business. So then the answer would be yes, and our recommendation then follows and forms part of the report. Let's just move on through the questions and answer don't know to the last one to see what happens when we reach the report stage. The same process follows the rest of the hazard questions, though let's just take a quick look at cooking. This would be applicable to restaurants or hotels, for example. First, let's see the guidance note. Though then, if we answer yes to the first question, further, more detailed questions open and require a response. If, however, we answer no, as in my office case, then the questions collapse and we can move on. Let's also take a quick look at the following question, lightning. Do you have a lightning protection system? Here you may consider it not applicable and note as follows. 3-story office block surrounded by much higher buildings, so a lightning strike is not considered a risk. Remember, this demonstrates that you've considered the risk and you don't believe it to be relevant. So moving on again, we can have straightforward similar format questions that any responsible user will be able to answer. We then save and proceed to the next page. Fire protection measures. Further simple questions and recommendations as per the previous page for completion. Please note, however, the further PDF guidance is available throughout. Then once again, save and proceed to the management page. If our advice has been followed and the procedures and training has now been completed, then these questions are very easy to answer positively. If this isn't the case, then a negative response is given, and then the report recommends that this is carried out. Save and proceed again now. We're at the People section. There are a number of simple questions here, and as mentioned, if the procedures and training has been done, these are easily completed. Now, let's move to the report by clicking Submit and View. Here we see the resulting summary report and action plan created from the answers to all the previous questions. The subject property, the contents, the inspection details, the answers to the early questions, then individual responses to the detailed questions, together with an action point or not, depending on whatever the case may be. Please see the response to the naked flame question, where we pretended to be a car repair workshop. We'll see that soon in the action or residual risk plan. Please also see the red note to the question that we didn't know the answer to. This needs further investigation and will remain like this until there is an answer. I also previously had a couple of issues with the escape routes that don't comply on B1.1 and B1.2. Let us see them on the report. Now we see actions that I must deal with, and looking at the timescale, they need dealing with immediately, so I'll go and ensure this happens. Once this is complete, I can go back into the questions and change the answer, which completes my report and then removes it from my action plan. Please note the residual risk that remains. This keeps me permanently aware of the special risk within my environment, and I know this must be constantly under review. This is now a robust, suitable and sufficient fire risk assessment report. Even if you have pending actions, as long as the enforcing authorities see that you're doing something about them within the recommended timescale, they won't worry too much about you. In fact, if previous experiences are anything to go by, they might even congratulate you on carrying out such a thorough and detailed assessment and ensuring your environment as safe as reasonably can be expected from a fire-related incident. Furthermore, your insurance provider will be pleased to see your compliance and also the reduced likelihood of a fire-related claim. Remember, this is a legal requirement, and failure to comply could result in profound implications in law, maybe even with criminal proceedings, notwithstanding the effect it may have on a fire-related insurance claim. It therefore has to be treated as a live, dynamic process that must be maintained, followed and recorded throughout, such that it becomes part of a business operating culture. So that's, as I mentioned, a very brief insight into the complete fire safety management platform. Many thanks for your patience and time in viewing this presentation, and I hope it's proved enlightening to you. So I look forward to seeing you at my training sessions. If you have any further inquiries, I know my colleagues are ready to help you. Once again, many thanks.